Hello, Killy Killy Kymani here at Shop Around the Corner Books. And I'm gonna read of some of The Color Purple by Alice Walker. Let's see. Dear Celie, I woke up this morning bound to tell Corinne and Samuel everything. I went over to their hut and pulled up a stool next to Corinne's bed. She's so weak by now that all she can do is look unfriendly. And I could tell I wasn't welcome. I said, Corinne, I'm here to tell you and Samuel the truth. She said, Samuel already told me. If the children are yours, why didn't you just say so? Samuel said, now, honey. She said, don't you honey me. Then he swore on the Bible to tell me the truth, to tell God the truth, and she lied. Corinne, I said, I didn't lie. I sort of turned my back more on Samuel and whispered, you saw my stomach, I said. What do I know about pregnancy, she said. I never experienced it myself. For all I know, women may be able to nab out all the signs. They can't rub out stretch marks, I said. Stretch marks go right into the skin, and a woman's stomach stretches enough that it keeps a little pot, like all the women have here. She turned her face to the wall. Corinne, I said, I'm the child's aunt. Their mother is my older sister, Celie. Then I told them the whole story. Only Corinne was still... Hold on the train. Then I told them the whole story. Only Corinne was still not convinced. You and Samuel telling me so many lies. Who can believe anything you say? She asked. You got to believe Nettie, said Samuel, though the part about you and Pa was a real shock to him. Then I remembered what you told me about seeing Corinne and Samuel and Olivia in town. She was buying cloth to make her and Olivia dresses. And how you sent me to her because she was the only woman you'd ever seen with money. I'm trying to make Corinne remember that day, but she couldn't. She gets weaker and weaker, and unless she can believe us and start to feel something for her children, I fear we will lose her. Oh, Celie, unbelief is a terrible thing. And so is the hurt we cause others unknowingly. Pray for us, Nettie. Dearest Celie, every day for the past week I've been trying to get Corinne to remember meeting you in town. I know if she can just recall your face, she will believe Olivia, if not Adam, is your child. You think Olivia looks like me, but that is only because I look like you. Olivia has your face and eyes exactly. It amazes me that Corinne didn't see the resemblance. Remember the main street downtown of town? I asked. Remember the catching post in front of Finley's dry goods store? Remember how the town store smelled like peanut shells? She says she remembers all this, but no men speaking to her. Then I remember the quilts the Lincoln men make. beautiful quilts which are full of animal and birds and people. And as soon as Corinne saw them, she began to make quilt that alternated one square of applique figures with a 9-inch block using the clothes the children had outgrown, and some of her old dresses. Went to her trunk and started hauling out quilts. "Don't touch my things," said Corinne. "I'm not gone yet." I held up the first one and tried to make the other light. Another to the light. Trying then the first one I remember her making and trying to remember at the same time the dresses she and Olivia were wearing the first months I lived with them. "Aha," I said, when I found what I was looking for and laid the quilt across the bed. "Do you remember buying this cloth?" I asked, pointing to a flowered square. "And what about this checkered bird?" She traced the patterns with her finger, and slowly her eyes filled with tears. "She was so much like Olivia," she said. "I was afraid she'd want her back, so I forgot her as soon as I could. All I let myself think about was how the clerk treated me. I was acting like somebody else because I was Samuel's wife and a Spelman Seminary graduate. And he treated me like any ordinary Negro. Oh, my feelings were hurt, and I was mad, and that's what I thought about, even told Samuel about on the way home. Not about your sister. What was her name? Seeley? Nothing about her." She began to cry in earnest. Me and Samuel holding her hands. "Don't cry. Don't cry," I said. "My sister was glad to see Olivia with you. Glad to see her alive. She thought both her children were dead." "Poor thing," said Samuel. And we sat there talking a little and holding on to each other until Corinne fell off to sleep. But Seeley, in the middle of the night, she woke up, turned to Samuel, and said, I believe," and died anyway. "Your sister in sorrow, Nettie." Dearest Seeley, just when I think I've learned to live with the heat, the constant dampness, even steaminess of my clothes, the swampiness under my arms and between my legs, my friend comes, and cramps and aches and pains. But I must still keep going as if nothing is happening, or be an embarrassment to Samuel, the children, and myself. Not to mention the villagers who think women who have their friends should not even be seen. Right after her mother's death, Olivia got her friend. She and Tashi tend to each other, is my guess. Nothing is said to me. In any event, I don't know how to bring the subject to how, which feels wrong to me. But if you talk to an Linka girl about her private parts, her mother and father will be annoyed. And it is very important to Olivia not to be looked like as an outsider. Although one ritual they do have to celebrate womanhood is so bloody and painful, I forbid Olivia to even think about it. Do you remember how scared I was when it first happened to me? I thought I had cut myself, but thank God you were there to tell me I was all right. We buried Corinne in the Alinka way, wrapped in bark cloth under a large tree. All of her sweet ways went with her, all of her education and a heart intent on doing good. She taught me so much. I know I will miss her always. The children were very stunned by their mother's death. They knew she was very sick, but death is not something they think about in relation to their parents or themselves. It was a strange little procession, all of us in our white robes and with our faces painted white. Samuel is like someone lost. I don't believe they've spent a night apart since their marriage. And how are you, dear sister? The years have come and gone without a single word from you. Only the sky above us do we hold in common. I look as it's often as if somehow reflected from its immensities. I will one day find myself gazing into your eyes, your dear, large, clean, and beautiful eyes. Oh, Seely, my life here is nothing but work, 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 and worry. What girlhood I might have had passed me by, and I have nothing of my own. No man, no children, no close friend, except for Samuel. But I do have children, Adam and Olivia, and I do have friends, Tasha and Catherine. I even have a family, this village, which has fallen on such hard times. Now the engineers have come to inspect the territory. The two white men came yesterday and spent a couple of hours strolling around about the village, mainly looking at the wells, such as the innate politeness of the Lincoln that they had rushed about preparing food for them, though precious little is left, since many of the gardens that flourish at this time of year have been destroyed, and the white men sat eating as if the food was beneath notice. It is understood by the Olympia that nothing good is likely to come from the same persons who destroyed their houses, and custom dies hard. I did not speak to the men myself, but Samuel did. He said their talk was all of the workers, kilometers around, rainfall, seedlings, machinery, and whatnot. One seemed totally indifferent to the people around them, simply eating and then smoking and staring off into the distance. And the rather somewhat younger appeared to be enthusiastic about learning the language before he says it dies out. I did not enjoy watching Samuel speaking to either of them, the one who hung on every word or the one who looked through Samuel's head. Samuel gave me all of Corinne's clothes, and I need them. Though none of our clothes is suitable in this climate, this is true even of the clothing of the Africans wear. They used to wear very little. But the ladies of England introduced the Mother Hubbard, a long, cumbersome, ill-fitting dress, completely shapeless, that inevitably gets dragged into fire, causing burns aplenty. I have never been able to bring myself to wear one of these dresses, which all seem to have been made with the plants in mind, so I was glad to have Corinne's things. At the same time I dreaded putting them on. I remembered her saying we should stop wearing each other's clothes, and the memory pained me. Are you sure Corinne would want this? I asked Samuel. Yes, Sister Nettie, he said. Tries not to hold her fears against her. At the end she understood and believed and forgave whatever there was to forgive. I should have said something sooner, I said. He asked me to tell him about you, and the words poured out like water. I was dying to tell someone about us. I told him about my letters to you every Christmas and Easter, and about how much it would have meant to us if he had gone to see you after I left. He was sorry he hesitated to become involved. If only I'd understand then what I know now, he said. But how could he? There's so much we don't understand, and so much unhappiness comes because of that. Love and Merry Christmas to you, your friend, your sister, Nettie. And that we must end here.